Welcome back to Southeast Texas Weekly. Beaumont City Councilman W.L. Pate is here with us once again, and Nathan Buddy Reynolds, Democratic activist, joining us for a final quick word on a couple of matters. We've talked Ukraine, we've talked ISIS. Any quick observations so far? What should the president be doing to handle what has emerged as a couple of big hot spots around the world, in your view?
Well, as far as ISIS is concerned, I think I said this a couple of weeks ago. If we're going to do something about it, we need to do it now before it gets bigger, gets way out of hand. And he needs to come up with his strategy as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and maybe Ukraine, the president meeting with NATO and talking about how to handle this. A 4,000-man strike force, quick strike force has been already generated for NATO to be able to. I wonder if a 4,000-man army would do it.
You know, it's not about whether we ever want to be at war with somebody, because as an Army officer, I'll tell you, the answer is no. We really don't. But sometimes you have to be. And sometimes you got to draw the line and say, this is it. We told the Ukrainians that here's what we would do. You give up your nuclear weapons, we'll be here to protect you, even though they weren't in NATO. They gave them up, the Russians roll in, and we go, oops, well, gee, here's some MREs and meals ready to eat. Well, that ain't going to help you. You're going to throw them at the Russians?
You have to wonder right now what the Estonians, the Latvians, the Lithuanians are thinking about this situation. Well, we're next in line.
We are, everything the president says is seen worldwide. Worldwide. It doesn't just show up in Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and New York.
Yeah.
When he says this, you got to have the allies on our side. And if you say this is a stance we're taking, like when we had that line in Syria that wasn't really a line, we were just sort of thinking we might have a line.
If a lot of sand there, but there wasn't.
That's right. Line, you know, where would William Barrett Travis really drew a line and says, get on this side or the other side. And that's one of the things that's caused a lot of the problems in the Middle East is that we've been on the wrong side. We pulled out of Iraq too soon. We didn't keep the troops there that our military commanders wanted us to keep. ISIS couldn't have done what they're doing now. Now we've got to go back and take care of these guys, because these people are past rationalization. You can't negotiate with these people.
Possibly we can revisit this issue in just moments, but let's move to immigration if we can. A number of immigration-related stories out this week, most notably the Arlington, Texas hearing that was set up for several illegal immigrants, in which they learned that they would have their immigration hearing in 2018. 4-year wait set up. One of the stories out, 1 in 10 Californians, illegal immigrants. We now know that from news stories. All the job gains in North Carolina in recent years have gone to illegal immigrants, not to natural-born citizens. These are the things that again, our barbershops of Southeast Texas, many people talk about.
Don't say barbershops.
Sorry.
It's got to be part of a comprehensive immigration reform package. You just talked earlier about the backlog of cases.
That's not going to happen because this president won't build any consensus with his Republican colleagues and get a comprehensive plan together. Is that a fair assessment on my part?
Well, I think you always have issues between the president being on one party and the consensus of the legislature being the other way. That's gridlock. However, somebody needs to put their heads together and say, we need an immigration package, and one of the things they're going to have to overcome, one of the hurdles they're going to have to overcome is the right to everybody to their due process, to a hearing. Like you talked earlier with the candidates for the judgeship, there's a backlog in the criminal court. There's a backlog in the immigration court, and it's huge.
I mean, a 4-year wait, that's extraordinary.
Maybe they need more forums and more judges.
You might could argue that's unconstitutional.
Which means more money.
Yeah.
It is unconstitutional.
Well, when it takes 4 years, seriously, see y'all. Yeah, we're coming back. No kidding. Yeah, we'll be here. Right here, you want to see her in 4 years?
Mitt Romney might be president by then. 4 years?
Hey, listen, in 4 years he might be out of office. You know, I mean, seriously. No, the sad part about this is when we make it easier for people to enter our country than the country that's to our southern border that put people in jail for 2 years. There's a Marine, a U.S. Marine that's been in jail for 5 months who accidentally drove across the border, and there's some other issues there. But the bottom line is, if you sneak in to the Mexican the country of Mexico, 2 years. They're going to put you in jail for 2 years. And it's worse in other countries. We're the only country, a sovereign country, that people just walk in and go, hey, I want to live here, and somebody jumps up and says, well, they're citizens. Well, no, they're not.
Okay.
They're not citizens.
Final
And
word, just 15 seconds. These executive orders, bad idea on the part of the president. Will it stain the president in terms of looking authoritarian?
He's made so many executive orders now, I don't think a half a
think it'll
dozen
have
more are
an
going to
effect.
make any other difference.
Well,
All right,
the
we
problem
appreciate
with
it.
that is,
I gotta go, my friends. I'm sorry. I appreciate it, guys. We gotta go. See you next time on Southeast Texas Weekly.
Southeast Texas Weekly, brought to you by the Modern Vein Surgery Institute at Privity Clinic for Surgical Care.